Yeah, so I was just making a video. I was running out of space on my laptop. And what I talked about were some solutions to get people from homeless to housed to employed. Okay. Now, I talked about what changes need to be made in the system in Victoria, BC, what changes need to be made inside of these homeless shelters, and, what needs to be done in general, okay? And what I talked about was, first of all, because I experienced while I was homeless trying to help somebody get into a rehabilitation center. We called all of them, which there was like 3. Okay, not a lot, 3 or 4. You know, that was like 5 years ago, but I know it hasn't changed very much. But we tried to get him in. He had a moment where he was like, I'm ready. I want to change my life. We went there. He was ready to check in, and we got there full. Called every other place full. Lost the opportunity. That moment could have been his last hope. He could be dead now. He could have died the next day or a week later from an overdose or from whatever. And that was the one small window of opportunity when somebody changes, when they get sick of this addiction that they're going through, and they finally want to take the action to just throw themselves into this program for 6 months to a year, which that's what it needs to be, 6 months to a year. A year, if at least, you know what I'm saying? So that guy just went back in the streets, probably still, who knows what happened to him, okay? But bottom line is that the city failed, okay? Because if that can happen, and you want to complain about the homelessness population and the crime rate going up through homelessness and all this stuff, if the process is not there to get from homeless to sober to housed to employed, then you are the problem. The system itself is the problem. There is more than enough resource and more than enough money to create this process. The reason why they don't is because it would take, apparently there's 1,500 people homeless in Victoria. They say that every year. They said that in 2020. They said it in 2021. They're saying it now in 2022. I have the statistics up. So, but they say they're making progress. No, they're not, okay? They're capitalizing and benefiting and profiting. That's what they're doing. They're generating over $100 million a year, and it keeps them employed, and it keeps their $250,000 yearly salaries and their $160,000 yearly salaries in their pockets, and raising funds and not receding and inputting everything to the CRA and stuff like that. And that even alone isn't really considered fraud. It's just, oops, it was a mistake. I didn't input this receipt. Okay, no problem. That's if they pull your card. If they don't, you get away with it. By then, they've generated millions of dollars on their own. But anyways, here's the thing. There's greed involved that's stopping homelessness from progressing. The system is built in properly in a way that keeps homelessness the way it is and addiction the way it is, so that way they can never get out, which means every year we can guarantee and bet on that salary coming in, because if they fix homelessness, there's no need for your salary anymore. There's no need for that $100 million a year anymore. The problem is solved. Bye-bye. No more grants, no more fundraising, no more nothing. The money's gone. And a lot of people are going to be pissed that they don't have a job anymore and they don't have no money to suck up anymore, okay? So let's get to part 2. Part 2 is the employment side. Now, briefly, I said the Salvation Army charges $600 a month for a homeless guy to live in there in a dorm with 30 other men in bunk beds. Unnatural, unrealistic, never going to make it out. You need that $600. So what they could do is they could hold that $600 for you, okay? Instead of take it, okay? And again, they're good at raising funds, right? So they raise funds all the time, holding up $30,000 checks, $100,000 checks. So why can't you use that money to pay for what's necessary to keep this going? If you really were there, a nonprofit Christian organization, if you were really there to improve the quality of life for homeless and get them out of homelessness, this is what you would be doing. You're using the money wrong, period. Okay, so hold the $600 a month for 6 months. That's more than enough money to get a place first and last and to start your life, okay? Now, when they get out of there, because you've created an opportunity for them to get out of there, If not, they're going to just keep paying the $600 a month, never have enough money to jump into another place. It's almost impossible. It's not possible. They know that, and that's the way they like it, so they can keep generating their $600 a month off 4 different dorms. Like I said, over $30,000 a month, over $342,000 a year they generate at the One Salvation Army off of these homeless people. Okay, it's more than enough money. Okay, now hold the 600 for 6 months to a year. Tons of money, okay, to start your life. And now you've been living in a shelter for long enough, you can't wait to start your life. And you have something to start on, okay? Enough, more than enough, okay? And then you have employment opportunities built specifically for homeless people, okay? It's not going to be McDonald's. It ain't going to be Tim Hortons. It ain't going to be construction. It ain't going to be roofing, okay? Get over that. You're not being very... you're not trying to create a way to solve the problem. You're just being bitter and pissed off that you want people to go work at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody was meant for that, especially the people that have been through trauma like that, okay, and have been through homelessness. They need a purpose, and their purpose is in helping other people out of what they've overcome. But the system does not create a pathway to overcome homelessness or addiction, so it stays the way it is, and nobody ever gets out, and no homeless guy can ever get housed to be like, look, this is how you do it. I did it. You remember me in the streets? I was right beside you, dog. You remember? Yeah, bro, how did you do it? This is what I did. This is what you need to do if you're serious about this, bro. Look at what you can have. Look, I got a car now. I got a beautiful place. Look at this, dog. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, man, I want this. I need this. But if they can't see it, then there's no hope. They need to see people that have made it. And there's no one that made it because the system keeps it like that, okay? So anyways, so that's the process that needs to happen with all of these organizations, okay? Our Place, Kool-Aid, everything, all right? There needs to be programs created, employment programs created, okay, that teach homeless people how to become advocates of homelessness, how to start a nonprofit organization or a charity, okay, and use their idea and their lived experience to improve the quality of life, if not change homelessness, and start to create progression for homeless people, a pathway out. And it's done by one homeless guy making it out, then showing the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And it can be done through an organization or an agency or a program, an employment program. Certifications can come out of it. They can teach you how to become useful instead of go get a job at Labor Unlimited, go to Tim Hortons, go be a roofer, go be a construction guy, okay? That's not how it works. And if you want to be a fucking fool like that, then you deserve to fucking realize that homelessness is never going to change, okay? So here are the real solutions, right? That program needs to be in place. They need to reallocate their budgets and salaries and stop being greedy and start using it to create employment opportunities, unique employment opportunities for the homeless guy and for the drug addict. Okay, give them purpose and a career. It is not going to happen through the college, through the university. The social services certification is bogus. Okay, there's no purpose in it. You go get it, and then you just sit there and you still can't get a job. It's bogus. The old system does not work. Okay, so stop looking at it. Stop going to. Well, just go to college and get a degree and get a certification. No, those don't work. They never have. It's not going to work. Okay, I know it. I've just tried to get into Camosun College. I'm housed. I'm sober. Okay, I can't pass the grade 12 English and grade 12 math. I'm never going to be able to do grade 12 and grade 12 English and math, bro. It's never going to happen. Does that mean that I don't deserve to have a career? That I don't deserve to get into college? No. Okay, so there needs to be a new educational system put in place that has less demand and less requirement from the homeless guy because they're already broken. Okay, maybe in this program you teach them they can go through, grade 9 to grade 12 English, grade 9 to grade 12 math, while at the same time they get paid to go. People need money, bro. They're going to burn and crash. They're going to crash and burn. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go back to homelessness and get stuck in the same cycle if there's not immediate attention to money and stability, okay? People need money and stability, and it's too hard for a homeless guy to get out and go through the same hard body system that literally squeezes you out, chews you up, and spits you out and doesn't let you get in and get through. It's too difficult. It's too old. The system is old, okay? The program that I wanted to take, okay, doesn't even require grade 11 and grade 12 English and math. At no point in time in that 9-month program would you ever be required of having these skills. It's unnecessary, and they haven't changed the system, and they don't want to. Now, it's keeping a lot of people out of having a career. So let's build new opportunities. It's not like the money's not there. It's not like the resource ain't there. It's not like they're not fundraising hundreds and thousands of dollars in front of your face, holding big checks up. They can do it. They do it. They just use the money improperly, okay? And they don't listen to people like me that did 15 years in the streets, 7 years in Victoria. They don't want to hear me. They don't care. They got their system that brings them in money and employs them and keeps them employed. Why would they want to change that? Okay? So, now, create the employment programs specifically catered to people that have trauma, that have been through homelessness, that need to find purpose in their pain. Okay? That will turn somebody from a drug addict to a housed to a purpose-filled human being that is now contributing to society, to the same marginalized communities that they were a part of at one point in time. They are the evidence and they are the proof to the rest of the homeless people that they can do it too. Cause and effect. This is real. This will work. Okay? Now, once that's established, once they go through that program, you need to have openings available in these organizations and at these places and these locations where they can now become full-time employed. From the program to employed. So from the street to sober, because there is enough rehabilitation centers, to going through the process of the Salvation Army where you're homeless, but they're saving your $600 a month for you for 6 months to a year. Now you have a start. Now you get your place. They reference for you. They're references for you. Boom. Now you've gotten past that barrier of not being able to get references as a homeless person. Nobody wants to rent to you. You don't have references, no credibility, no work experience, so on and so forth. So you need to create it. Okay? Stop lying and acting like we don't know what to do. We don't know how to fix it. It's too big of a problem. No, it's not. You're creating the problem. You're contributing to the problem. You're not listening to the dudes that fucking was out there for 7 years. Okay? You're not listening and you're not taking action. You're not creating a pathway out. And there's a reason behind that. They're lying, okay? And I know that for a fact. Okay, now, now you went from this employment program that pays you to go there, okay? There's funding available. If all you organizations and the coalition and Face to Face with Stigma and all these people can come up with these creative ideas to request funding from the federal government and from the government and get grants and get private sponsors and all this other shit, then you can use that money and that same strategy and methodology to fund something that's actually going to change homelessness. This is why I try to get involved, but they didn't want to let me in because they know that I would do this if I had the funding available to me. I could pull this off, okay? And there's other people that would love to do it too, but they also get cut out and closed out and make sure that they can't do this, because if they do, it'll go from 1,500 homeless people to 1,000 to 500 to 300 to 200 to 100 to none. And it'll have a system in place that keeps people going through this program from homeless to sober to through the Salvation Army or these other shelters, which there needs to be more, not just a mat on the ground on a concrete floor in a gym, okay, with no pillow, by the way. That's what I had to do for years. You're not getting up and going to work after that, trust me, okay? Now, stop being the problem. Stop standing in the way. Stop the greed. Stop the overpaying of salaries. Stop the misallocating of budgets. Stop the misuse of funding. Stop generating money for you to be employed in your family and your friends that have never been through homelessness. Stop structuring the programs when you have no lived experience. You have no business doing what you're doing. Stop advocating and speaking for the homeless population. You have no business doing that. Go and find them and pay them to advocate for their people so they can have an opportunity to find stability in that process and find purpose, okay? There's lots of creative ideas that coming from the homeless people that would completely change homelessness as a whole. But the city will not allow it because they have a structure in place that benefits them. It keeps homelessness and addiction where it is so they can continuously generate and fundraise and get their money and keep themselves employed year after year after year. If they solve the problem, they're no longer employed. There's no longer a need for that demand of the $100 million a year. A lot of people get fucked over. And it's all the people that have never been fucking homeless, okay? There you go. That's what's going on. So if they really wanted to fix homelessness, they could. And here are solutions, okay? Again, there needs to be more rehabilitation centers, and the rehabilitation centers need to be structured by people that have overcome addiction, long-term extreme addiction and homelessness. They have the answers. They know what's wrong with the systems. They know how to fix it. They know already how the rehabilitation centers already work. They've been in there. They know how it works. They know why the rules need to be the way they are. They know why certain things need to be where they are, but they would like to add to that, and they would also like to explain why certain things will not work and will actually contribute to the problem. If you're not willing to listen to that, and you're not willing to put funding instead of in your own pocket towards something like that, then you're a part of the problem, right? So then from there, these shelters and these places that charge people to live there and never get out of the circumstances because it's using all of their financial resource to just stay there, okay? And it's saving money is a front. It is a lie. It doesn't exist. People that can save money have money to save, okay? If you only have $700 a month and you got to pay $600 to live, you think you're going to be able to save that $100 a month for a year, which would only get you $1,200? That's not going to do anything. And guess what? You need that $100 because all your money is already getting tucked away being spent to just live in a dorm with 30 other men in bunk beds. You're exhausted. You're defeated mentally. It's degrading and depleting to even be in that circumstance, and you think you're going to save your one little $100? No, you need a haircut. You need basic needs. You need a pair of new shoes because there's holes in the bottom. Okay, you're never going to even have your basic needs. You're just going to be able to pay, live, and eat expired food and get sick and slowly die and decay. And then while they just generate their $600 a month off friggin' however many people, 30 people per dorm, 3-4 dorms, over $30,000 a month. Okay, there you go. So when the system steps out of the way and starts creating a real pathway for homeless people and then empowering them to get employed and then show the other homeless people, look, I made it through this process, so can you. There you go. That's how you solve homelessness, period. And it's never been done. And all of these organizations and agencies that are claiming all these resources, I went to all of them on foot. And guess what? All they did was give me a print off of Kijiji and how to get a job at Tim Hortons. Okay? They wouldn't be references for me. Even though I'm a sober homeless guy. I'm the only sober homeless guy here, and I've been here for years. You guys have been seeing me stuck in this trap because rent's too high. I've already applied for BC Housing and all these other places and never got a call. Like, seriously. Are you guys going to keep playing dumb or what? Like, come on. Anyways, so again, that process needs to be in place. This will change homelessness. Within 5 years, you'll go from 1,500 to probably 500, maybe less. Because there is a pathway. It's just a box right now, and people are stuck bouncing off the walls in a circle. There's no way out. There has to be a pathway out that's catered or specified or structured specifically for the homeless by the homeless. Everyone's finding ways that they can request funding from the government to help social issues like homelessness so they can employ themselves. That's all they're doing. They're not looking, they're just trying to look what looks good to the community. What will make them support us? What's a good idea that would make somebody invest $100,000 in us? What can we get grant money for? What can we come up with to sound like we're going to fix something so we can get funding? Even though, did you ask the fucking homeless guy, hey bro, would this change homelessness for you? No, it would change homelessness for you because you would get a job, you would get employed, and then fucking you can look like a hero to the community, but I'm still in a fucking tent. This ain't gonna help me, bro. It's not helping me. It's not creating a way, step by step. Okay? I remember getting a place and then living off $140 a month and starving to death to the point where it was a better option to go back to homelessness. That's a problem. That means there's a problem with the system. Okay, you could say, well, you could have went and got a job. I was applying for jobs left, right, and fucking center. I had a stack of resumes like that. Okay, nobody called me. Okay, my references were from fucking years ago. If you haven't worked for a couple years, you look like a fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to hire you. They don't want to rent to you. You're fucking locked out. You have no excuse on why. Apparently, you have no excuse why you haven't had references for this long. You haven't been employed for this long. Shit can happen. People can get sick. People go through homelessness. Like, what the fuck? So now even more, I'm not allowed to have a job? Bro, I got denied at Value Village, because my references were too old, bro. Okay? I got denied at Superstore because I had a criminal record from 10, 15 years ago. This is facts. This really happened. Okay? I applied for jobs for a year straight and got 3 calls. There is something wrong with the system. There's something wrong with the system. Okay, just because it worked easily for you and somehow you got it cracking real quick and it worked out for you, so now you say, come on, just do it like me, you fucking lazy bum. No, you don't realize that you got fucking lucky. Okay, and you had a fucking home to sleep in, to get up and go to work. You had a family, if shit fucking falls down, you got somewhere to go, a friend. You're not going to a homeless shelter, right? Have you been to one? Have you been homeless when shit all fell apart? Oh no, because I found a way to fucking... No, you didn't. Shut up. Okay? I already know these people that fucking talk like that they're just pieces of shit. There's no way to fucking reason with people like that, and there's no way to help fix. These people are even more adding to the problem. They're the ones that need to get removed and shunned and kicked off the fucking island. That's real shit, you know. Anyways, if these things were put in place, which there's more than enough money and resource, I could show it. I can break everybody's salaries down in the entire city that work for charity organizations. I can break down their tax loop tricks, how they write things off as business expenses and get the money back, but it just goes into their pocket, which goes to their mortgage and their cars that they like to buy and their vacations to Paris and all that other shit, which you can go and look on their Facebook and see the lifestyle that they're living. These same people that are advocating for the homeless, generating $36 million, $15 million a year. Okay, but not really telling the truth about cutting the costs and expenditures. Okay, so again, homelessness can be solved. It's not that much of a complex situation. It's a matter of just creating the pathway out and letting people with lived experience that are homeless dictate how things are structured. That's it. That's what you haven't done. That's one thing that you have not done. So even if you think I'm wrong, why not try just because you haven't done it? Since you guys are so into trying all of these things to generate fundraising and money and all this stuff, and you're so willing to try shit, but when a homeless guy tells you how to fix it, oh, well, yeah. Okay. Those are the solutions. So don't think I'm just sitting here complaining about everything. Okay? I know what the solutions are. But because I've already went through the process of going through homeless, housed, to employed, to organizations that are advocating for homelessness, and found out that they're putting on a show and a display and they're not really interested in solving the problem, because if they do, that takes away their job and their employment and their salary and their yearly request for funding, that hurt me. That hurt me. That showed me that it's a hoax. This is why I'm in fight mode. This is why I'm not trying to reason anymore, because I've already went through the process of reasoning with this city. I spoke to city council. I was in there on a video in front of the entire city council in a courtroom, okay? And they acted like they were gonna, allow people to tent in Beacon Hill Park, and right at the last second, never mind, we changed our mind. Everyone get the fuck out. So they showed me that they're playing a game all the way up until the last second to gain. Oh, we're making progression with the council. Oh, we're changing things. Never mind. Haha, sucker. Psych. Right at the last second, they just swerve on you. The UN did it to me. Right? I was in there. They're bigging me up, saying, "Yeah, We can employ you to run these program ideas of yours. We can get you grant funding, and we just got approved $63,000 for our homelessness simulation program. What? You, the person that's never been homeless, get $63,000 to run a program around simulating my life? That's interesting. Okay, so what about me running the podcast and the music studio for homeless people to get off the street and have something productive to do and stay out of the street and give them a purpose? Oh, well, we thought about that now that it's the last day of all of our meetings, and we can't get that for you. Maybe you should try to look elsewhere. But didn't you just why did we just do all this for 4 months? What? You said that you were interested in doing that. You wanted to know my ideas around programs that could be run that could improve the quality of life for homeless and poverty. And I tell you my ideas, and you say that you can employ me to run and host these programs, and you can potentially get grant funding for me. Now I'm thinking that this is turning into something. And then right at literally the last day, like if there was 30 days in a month, it would be the 29th, the last fucking day. Never mind. Yeah, we changed. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, but we got $63,000 to simulate homelessness. It was like a fucking slap in the face. They're like, we can't get you anything, even though we said we could, but we just got approved for our $63,000 grant. Haha. To simulate your life that you lived, even though we've never been through it. So we're profiting off of you. Your suffering, blood, sweat, and tears. We're profiting off of you, and we're employing ourselves. And we're putting money in our pockets, and we haven't even been through homelessness. Now, that's the UN. Every single organization out here has done the exact same fucking thing. They play you to use you for your ideas. You get to the top, and then they cut you off. You go back to a fucking tent, no employment opportunity, and then they use your ideas. They request funding on behalf of your business idea. They get the fucking funding, and they employ themselves to run it. So please don't argue with me. I've been through this process from homeless for 7 years all the way up. Okay, I know what's wrong. I know what they're doing. I know why they're doing it. Okay, and this is why I've made victoriabcprofits.ca. Go to the website, check it out. There's a support tab. If you want to support somebody, instead of all these organizations dumping money into a system that literally just keeps homelessness where it is, maybe you should look at some alternative way to support someone that's actually been through homelessness that's now housed. Because that's helping fix the problem. Giving people opportunity, creating unique opportunity. That's life altering, okay? That's what's going to change things. But anyways, Corey Resilient, man, share this video. This is part 2 of part 1. Make sure you watch part 1, or part 2 won't even make sense. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something to note. One thing that I learned in the process of trying to contribute to these organizations that have sucked all of my ideas out of me and then used them for their own benefit to request funding to get themselves employed and continue to have themselves employed, it's made me very cautious about giving them the blueprint, because making solution videos like this from somebody like me that did 7 years in the streets is nothing but another opportunity for them to profit. They will capitalize off of these videos. They will do what I said to do, except with their structure, with their people that haven't been homeless, and they will create more employment opportunities for themselves in ways to request and raise funding. So this is why I don't like making these videos and showing the solutions, because I know that these fucking culture vultures that are profiting off of my suffering, blood, sweat, and tears that I went through since I was 14 years old in the streets with no family or parents since I was 14. I'm 31 now. They will use my ideas, as they have, cut me out of it, not give me a job, and capitalize off of what I've told them. And they'll manipulate it and structure it in a way that benefits them and still keeps the homeless guy out. And then they'll say, see, it didn't work. Huh. What do you know? We're going to need another $100 million this year, federal government. Thank you. But we've made this much progression. We've made this much. Okay? So you can't win against a system that is out for itself, that's pretending to be, hey, we're helping the homeless, we're feeding the homeless. And then when you got a brainwashed community and public of people that have no lived experience and are ignorant and belligerent in every way, shape, or form, they also contribute to the problem because they are fueling the system by defending it against somebody that's actually been homeless for 7 years. I got people arguing with me, telling me that I'm wrong when they've never even been homeless and they've never been employed to any of these organizations. And they don't know how anything works from the inside out. They've never been inside of any of these buildings or any of the shelters. But they're telling me I'm wrong. Well, those people are contributing to the problem as well. And there always will be people like that, right? So it is what it is.